Good evening. Here we are on a Wednesday, and week 13 is now officially over. Today, we're going to go over the two Monday games as well as last night's game. And then we're going to finish up with, giving you guys my top 10 teams heading into week 14. So, are you ready to get your fix? Well, let's talk about that defeat the Steelers took at the hands of the Washington football team. Yeah, that's right. I said defeat. We no longer have an undefeated team in the NFL. Look, I had a feeling that this was going to happen, but I didn't think it was going to beat to Washington. Okay, Washington came into this game with knowing it was going to be a fight until the very end. Okay, and they also had something to play for, that being a race to the top of their division, which after this win, they now sit at 5-7, tied with the New York Giants, and are sitting at second place in the NFC East. Now, this was a huge win for Washington because their last four games are the Niners, Seahawks, Panthers, and Eagles. So, they have a couple tough games coming up, but I believe this team can get some wins and, need the Giants to lose more games than they do so they can get that first place spot. Now, Washington, from what I've seen this entire season, has at least the top five defensive line with Chase Young, Montez Sweat, Ryan Kerrigan, and Jonathan Allen. The only guy that really overpowers people is, Chase Young. But all four of those guys are really good, okay? They play so well together that once they get momentum on their side, they're hard to stop, okay? And that's what happened in this game. Okay, and like I said in the past, a couple weeks now, the Steelers' offense was the one thing that scared me. Well, they had about 5 drop passes that should have resulted in catches, and they were only able to run the ball for 21 total yards. Establishing the running game is very crucial in today's game because it helps set that tone that, hey, we're going to come right at you, and you better find a way to stop us. Washington absolutely gave it to the Steelers and made this a tough game. Pittsburgh finally got exposed to what I've been saying all along, and that's that they don't have an offensive attack. I can guarantee you that if Pittsburgh ends up facing the Titans or Chiefs in the playoffs, they're not going to win, okay, unless their defense causes a lot of turnovers, because this offense can't move the ball. So moving over to the Buffalo Bills, traveling to the new temporary home of the San Francisco 49ers, State Farm Stadium in Arizona. All I got to say is, wow, Josh Allen can ball. Okay, 32 for 40, 375 passing yards, and 4 touchdowns. This man feasted, okay, on a beat-up secondary, and the game really wasn't even that close. We all know that the 49ers are missing a lot of key pieces this season. So, it really doesn't define who they are, okay? But being NFL players, you'd expect them to put on a little bit of a fight. But this is a really good Bills team, okay? This Bills team has all the right pieces except for a solid running back, and they're looking to make a run in the playoffs. And they start by proving they're a legit Super Bowl contender this upcoming week when they play the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I honestly think the Bills are going to hand the Steelers their second loss of the season. So let's switch gears to last night's game between the Dallas Cowboys and the Baltimore Ravens. Not going to lie, at first, it looked like the Cowboys might give the Ravens a run for their money. Okay, their defense started out really strong, but ended up letting the Ravens do what they do best and run all over them. We all know how good the Cowboys' defensive backs are, but they need to stop the run because that's how you beat the Baltimore Ravens, and they just couldn't figure it out. The Ravens had 4 total runners, with Gus Edwards rushing for 101 yards on 7 carries, Lamar Jackson with 94 yards and a touchdown on 13 carries, J.K. Dobbins with 71 yards and a touchdown on 11 carries, and then finally, Mark Ingram with 28 yards on 6 carries. So 294 total rushing yards for the Ravens, and that's why they were able to win this game so easily, okay? Because when you run the ball, you also control the clock and the pace of the game. And once, the Ravens took that lead, they made sure to keep that lead. So finally, it's time to give you guys who I think are the top 10 teams in the NFL going into Week 14. At 10, I got the Baltimore Ravens. Look, they had a solid win, but they still can't pass the ball, and that defense needs to be more consistent. At 9, I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Coming off a bye week after they lost 2 straight to the Rams and Chiefs, I just can't move them any higher because they still have all the right pieces. They just got to figure out how to use them. At 8, I got the Miami Dolphins. This team has some work to do on offense, but Tua can really get can really get going once can be really good once he gets going, and their defense is a top 10 defense in the NFL. At 7, I got the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah, I moved them pretty far back, but I think it's pretty accurate because I had a lot of doubts about their offense, and that's what lost them the game to Washington. At 6, I got the Tennessee Titans. I think this team beats Pittsburgh, but not by much because their offense is good, but they will have a tougher time against the Steelers' defense, but Pittsburgh wouldn't put many points on the board. At 5, I got the Green Bay Packers. They just beat an Eagles team that has a lot of issues, but overall the Packers make big plays and score a lot of points. And right now, I see them making a run in the playoffs and potentially making the NFC Championship game for the second year in a row. At 4, I got the Seattle Seahawks, but not by much because their defense can get sloppy and would have a tough time against the Packers, but that offense is really special. They just had a tough time against the Giants. Okay, at 3, I got the New Orleans Saints. This is a good team, okay, and we finally got to see how good Taysom Hill can be. I mean, 27 for 37, 232 yards passing, and 2 touchdowns, as well as 83 rushing yards. The Saints are just fine regardless of the quarterback that they have, and are a hard team to beat almost every single year that Sean Payton has been their coach. At 2, I got the Buffalo Bills. This team is really good and can move the ball just fine, and once they find a solid running back, they're going to be even better. And that leads me to my number 1 team in the NFL, again, the Kansas City Chiefs. I really can't say anything about this team because let's be real. You've seen what they're capable of, and they continue to win at a high rate and have only committed 8 total turnovers this entire year, which is the best in the NFL right now, along with the Tennessee Titans. Well, that's going to end our discussion today, as now we wait for Week 14 to start tomorrow night with a matchup between the New England Patriots and the Los Angeles Rams, which I think should be a really good matchup. Anyways, thanks for stopping by. We'll see you Friday, and you just got your fix with the Wicks.